right, finally, let's go and cap it off with Kyle Pitts. We could do this every week, but again, not a ton of tight end action. At the end of the season, if he scores a few touchdowns, this is going to end up looking okay. As of right now, you probably have to start Pitts. I mean,
he's hot. You're starting him. He's hot. He's playing well.
Passes. He's getting yards.
Tampa has no defense. Points are coming. Yeah. You're starting him. I mean, not want to, but you're starting him. The tight end sucks.
Yeah.
If you have two tight ends, tight end better than Pitts, God bless.
Yeah, I don't know how that could be. All right, we'll be back with bold predictions next.
Talk about how these series came to a head and what has been happening in this postseason for the Yanks. Offensively, it hasn't been Aaron Judge.
Baseball is such a big win here. All you ask for, East Coast Monster City, West Coast Monster City, the biggest of biggest Titan superstars on both sides here, two mammoth fan bases. The entire country can buy into this one.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. Always a fun time here on the show, this part of the show, because we get the bold predictions. And let's see here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview without giving it away. We're talking quarterbacks, Winston, Tua, even Kirk Cousins, after it looked like he never played in the NFL after watching this guy run backwards and throw it straight up in the air last week. But George is not concerned. It's time now for George to deliver several of his bold predictions for the week. George, take it away.
All right, you want bold? Okay, Jameis Winston is bold, right? Now, we've talked about him throughout the show, Craig and I. He's fun because, like I said, he'll throw the ball up and down the field. Just don't always know where it's going here. I just think the game script is great this week for Winston. Two quarterback league, I'd want to take a shot because I think they're going to be trailing against Baltimore. They might be getting killed against Baltimore, but he's going to have to throw the ball all up and down the field. Nick Chubb back, that's great, but he's not ready to be a full-time role yet. I know they don't have Amari Cooper yet, but Jerry Jeudy's still there. We'll see what we can get out of the other receivers. The Njoku, I think, is going to have a monster game here as well. I think the Njoku's back to being a tight end, a solid tight end one, just because there's not much else going on here. It's game script. All right, we know James can throw the ball. Cleveland did change offensive coordinators. Well, Stefanski, the head coach, is no longer calling the plays. Ken Dorsey, ex-Bills coach, is calling them. Find that strange because Stefanski is known as a very good play caller while Dorsey was replaced by Buffalo because he had some issues there. But Buffalo, think about that. I just think, listen, Winston, 275 yards, at least two touchdowns this week. I'm going to say the same, by the way, for Tua Tagovailoa. I know we sort of put him down early that he's an average quarterback. That's an NFL quarterback. Fantasy-wise, I think he gets the job done this week. There is some danger here. All right, he's coming back. We haven't seen him since mid-September? So I generally don't like starting players the first game back at the being away that long, but it's quarterback. We don't have no choice, especially if you're in a Superflex league. As Craig said, they're playing Arizona. You're not going to get a much better matchup than that. You heard Tyreek Hill, which we have to watch. He was on the injury report. I think he's going to play, but Tyreek Hill was all excited, right? What do you say? The circus is back. Whatever he said, the comment he made. So he's excited. Waddle will be used again. I just love this matchup for him. I think he's back. I think Miami scores 4 or 5 touchdowns here, and we have a good time with being able to play our Miami players once again. All right, so I'm all on board with Tua. And listen, for a league I played, he's the only quarterback I have. Please, I need you to do some damage here. Tyreek Hill, by the way, will be the beneficiary of this. I think he goes off. I think he gets a big play at some point. Betting wise, whatever his the high receiving catcher, it's 47 yards. He's getting it. He's gonna have a big play at some point in this game. I think he goes over 100 yards easy, gets at least one score. I mean, I can think about going bold here, 125-2. I think Tyreek Hill is re-energized, reinvigorated because Tua is back here. Craig's making fun of Kirk Cousins, which we've done a couple of times throughout the show. Yeah, he was god-awful last week. And to be truthful, if you look at where he's finished fantasy-wise quarterback rankings each week, here. He's up and down. It can drive you crazy. That being said, he's playing a depleted Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. All right, not only on offense without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, but their defense is banged up as well here. All right, they scored 1 million points on that. Was it a Thursday night game? The first time they played, I think he scores 500,000 here. I think I just think I can't see how they're not scoring 31 points minimum against Tampa Bay. I think this is a game that they're in control here. Cousins gets back on track, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, the quarterback, won this week fairly easily. Jordan Love, a guy who I seem to be in love with every week, and I think rightfully so. By the way, I know he throws interceptions, and it's frustrating, but he also throws touchdowns. And they're playing Jacksonville. All right, that Jaguars were, by the way, from England for the past 2 weeks, right? So maybe they're a little, they've had too much tea and crumpets there. I just think Jacksonville secondary, awful. All right, my only problem with Green Bay is trying to figure out which receiver to take. Is it Watson? Is it Dubs? Wicks? Is it this guy? That's my only problem here. It's which receiver, Dontavian. I just don't know which one to grab here, or more than one. Jaden Reed. It could be a Jacobs game. Tucker Kraft. He's made Tucker Kraft a tight end 1. Think about that. Tucker Kraft. So Jordan Love, I think, is going to go off this week. And this one's for Craig. Craig, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw a touchdown this week. Get back on his Hall of Fame path. All right, so we can all vote for him. I think Pat Mahomes has a great week this week. I think he looks back to being that quarterback that maybe not that we draft him as. If people draft him as a quarterback, 3rd overall quarterback, maybe 4th or 5th, right behind Hurts, right behind Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You're right there. But I think he looks like that guy again. And especially over the next coming weeks as Hopkins gets more invigorated into the team.
Great stuff from George. Those are the bold predictions. And here's what's coming up next here on Fantasy Sports Today. Hold or drop. Tight ends, wide receivers. Do you have to make that decision? We're going to help you there. Trade or fade. We'll preview all the games coming up this week and then give some pricing in daily fantasy. You're watching Fantasy Sports Today on SportsGrid. Craig Mish, George Kurtz. We're back after this.